Welcome to this session. Today we will be discussing the IAS CSET paper for 2015, the next set of 20 questions. So the first question here asked is based again on the passage. The passage says, talks about India's inflation and talks about how the prices have risen, the demand and supply imbalance, and ultimately it says India is vulnerable to the effect of changes in international prices has increased with trade liberalization. So that's what is the main key of the question, the statement. Now the question says, what is the most logical and rational message that can be implied? So from this I can say, as I pointed out that line, economic reforms can often lead to high inflation economy. So D would be the correct option. The next question, no right is absolute, exclusive or inviolable. The right to personal property has been perceived by larger context of the legitimacy, and this should be aimed to unite with the principles of liberty, equality and aim at cooperation. So this whole passage talks about right to personal property. Now the question says, which would be the most convincing explanation? Right to personal property, I can say, is a comprehensive idea that demands each person to acquire its property that has been reconciled with that of the others. So D would be the correct option. We are not talking about right to personal property as a natural right. We are not talking about as an instrument of theft. We are neither talking about its violative of distributive justice, and it negates the principle of cooperation. It is nowhere mentioned. It says it promotes the principle of cooperation. So the only correct option here can be D. Next paragraph, this talks about the conflict of man and state, and it says how the old laws have been yielding place to the new ones. That means the new ones are slowly and gradually overtaking the old ones. And it talks about absolute freedom of speech, and when it says there is absolute freedom of speech, it would result in chaos, ruin and anarchy. So if you have complete freedom of speech, you can speak out anything. So anarchy and chaos are the obvious results of democratic tradition. Most of the students got confused here, but this can happen only when I say there is absolute freedom of speech. Again, constitutional guarantee of freedom of speech is not in the interest of society. That is incorrect, because it's not talking about just the freedom of speech, rather the absolute freedom of speech. So the only correct option here can be the conflict between the state and the individuals remain unresolved, since it's talking about the age-long conflict between the state and the individuals. Next, this passage is about climate change, and it says the climate change has been facing a lot of troubles due to the funding and involves lot of cost, and this funding largely depends on the implementation. So there is a lot of financial support that is required by the developing nations, and who would provide that? That support on the developed nation, taking into account the contribution of the stock of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. So there are a couple of questions based on this passage, so it's important to understand these three lines. The first line that I have italicized, this and this. So what we are talking about here is magnitude of financial support that is required by developing nations to enhance the domestic mitigation and adaptation actions that are matter of intense debate in multilateral negotiations under UNFCCC. So the question says, according to the passage, which of the following is a matter of intense debate in multilateral negotiations? So enhancing the mitigation in the developing countries, that's one, and the scale and size of the financial support. It clearly mentions here, if I go to the scale and the magnitude of financial support and the domestic mitigation and adaptation actions. So these are the two things, 1 and 3. So the correct answer would be C, that is 1 and 3. Next question. In the passage, the convention puts the responsibility for the provision of financial support on the developed countries because, I can say, which of the following would be correct when I say this? So if I say this, I can say it has large contribution to the stock of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. That's clearly mentioned in the passage, which is of the developed nations. So 3 would be the correct option. So here I would have the option as only 3. It does not talk about higher level of per capita income and larger quantum of GDP. Next question. With regards to the same passage, the developing countries, it can be inferred from the passage that climate change is likely to have the implications on. Now climate change would have the implication on what all factors? So I have the domestic finance that it clearly says, but still this question is doubtful. If I say domestic finance, I must talk about mitigation. Now here it just says climate change. It nowhere mentions the word mitigation. So since it nowhere mentions the word mitigation, I cannot say it is domestic finance or capacity of multilateral trade. So in this case it should be neither 1 or 2. But if this passage means that climate change we are talking about mitigation, then if there is mitigation here, then it would be definitely domestic finance. Otherwise it is none of these. So it should be neither 1 and 2. Next question. Which of the following is essentially discussed in the passage? So this passage essentially talks about the funding between the developed and the developing nations regarding the support for mitigation. So developing countries are asking for mitigation, and there is a conflict between the two developed and the developing nations. So the correct answer here is A. Now this question is based on clock problem. So let's first understand how to solve this question. So I have my clock, consider my clock at 6 o'clock, and 6 o'clock it would be ahead by 3 minutes. So this is 30 minutes that it would be moving and 3 minutes more. So it would be moving by 33 minutes in all. Okay. Now the thing is, how much the minute hour will move in 1 minute? So minute hour will move 360. 360 is the complete circle. So 360 degrees by 60 minutes. So one whole round it would be 60 minutes. So 360 by 60. So it would move by 6 degrees. And how much will the hour hand move in 1 minute? So 1 hour hand moves from here to 7. That's this much. So it would move 360 by 12. So you have 12 hours. So 12. And again 60 for each. So it would be 0.5 degrees. So how much will it move? So 1 minute, the difference would be 5.5 degrees. So now let's consider the movement to be x. So it would be 5.5 into x, and there it would move 33 minutes into 6 degrees. So you have x is equal to 33 into 6 degrees by 5.5 degrees. That's equal to 36. So I can say at 6:36 p.m. both the minute hand will be ahead of the hour hand by 3 minutes. So the correct answer here would be 6:36. We can also solve this problem logically because the other choices that are given are far away. So when it's 6:15, I cannot say the hour hand is ahead of the minute hand is ahead of hour hand by 3 minutes, because it's obviously a huge difference. But there is definitely some movement of the hour hand as well along with the minute hand. So that we have calculated by this method. So here the answer comes to be 36. So the correct answer would be 6:36. Now next question. You have 5 persons and 5 tasks. So let me start with drawing 5 persons and 5 tasks here. So you have person 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Now let's start with person 2. Okay. He is assigning task 1, task 2, task 3, task 4 and task 5. So he can assign either 3 or 4. So how many choices can be with task 2? Either of these 2 person can do it. So 2. Now task 1 cannot be assigned to 1 or 2. So 1 and 2 cannot do it. And out of 3 and 4, 1 would be doing task 2. And 1 person is doing 1 task at a time. So out of these 3, how many are left for task 2? Again 2. Okay. Now task 3, 4 and 5 there is nothing mentioned. So task 3, how many people can do it? So 2 people are gone here. So one of the 3 people can do task 3. So I can say it would be 3. Now 2 remaining. So 2 of the people can do task 4 and one of the people that is left would do task 1. Now if I multiply these, I get 2 into 2, that's 4. 4 into 3, that's 12. 12 into 2 is 24. So I get 24. So how many ways we can assign the task? The correct answer would be 24. Next question. The monthly income of Peter and Paul is given and the monthly expenditure is given. And you have the ratio of income and expenditure and you are asked about the savings. Now the income be X and the savings be Y. Sorry, expense be Y. So income minus expenditure would equal to savings. So income minus expenditure would be equal to savings. How much I am earning and how much I am spending, the difference of that would be saving. So in the first case, let it be 4x minus 3y, that's the expense of the first, would be equal to 6,000. That's the saving. In the next case, it would be 3x minus 3:2. So 2y. That would again be equal to 6,000. Now let me multiply this equation by 2 and this equation by 3. So I can say 8x minus 6y is equal to 12,000. I can again say 9x minus 6y is equal to 18,000. If I reverse this, I can say minus x is equal to minus 6,000 or x is equal to 6,000. Since x is equal to 6,000, what would be the income of Peter and Paul respectively? So Peter, it would be 6,000 into 4, that's 24,000, and Paul, it would be 6,000 into 3, that's 18,000. So the income of Peter and Paul respectively would be 24,000 and 18,000. So 24,000 and 18,000 would be the correct answer. Next question. There are 2 cities A and B at a distance of 360 kilometers. Now we start with a very basic formula. What we will do is total distance, okay, that would be equal to, speed is equal to total distance upon total time. So total distance would be 360 going and 360 coming. So it would be 360 into 2. Now total time is equal to distance upon speed. So in the first case the distance is 360 by 40. In the second case the distance is the time taken would be 360 by 60. So if I solve this, 720 by 360, 1 by 40 plus 1 by 60. So I cancel it out, it's 2. So it's 2 into 1 by 40 into 60, 60 plus 40. So it would be 2 into 40, this goes up, so it would be 2 into 60 into 40 divided by 100, 0, 0 cancel out. So 2 into 6 into 4 is 24, 24 into 2 is 48, so answer would be 48 kilometers per hour. So the correct answer here would be B, that is 48 kilometers per hour. Next question. You have a set of cousins. You have to find out the age and find out the logical combination. Now this is a very interesting question. Let's first start. The youngest is 17 and the oldest E is 22 years. Okay. So let me mark as E as the oldest and he is 22 years. Now I know A is 1 year older than C. So A is greater than C. A is older than B, that's another thing I know, and C is older than D, so C is older than D, that's another thing I know, and F is in between B and D, so F is in between. So these are the things that I know. So E is the oldest, so keep it on this side. Now I have one option, E is greater than A is greater than C, because A and C would be together, and C is greater than D, okay. And what I am considering is F is between B and D. So I can say F is here and then here is B. That is one option that can be made out. The second option is E is the greatest. Again, A is 1 year older to C, so this would remain the same. But where can be B? A is greater than B, so B can be here. And F is in between B and D, so I can say F is here and D is here. So these are the two logical possible combinations that can be made. In either of the combination, E is the eldest, so he is 22. He is the youngest, this number would be 17. So F in either case would be 18 years old. So which of the following is possible? What is possible is F is 18 years old, that is possible. And the next question talks about how many logically possible orders of the cousins can be made. So one order is this and other order is this. So there can be two logically possible orders that can be made. Now next question. Now this is again an interesting question. You have 24 handshakes among boys and girls. Let's consider, so it says opposite sex, so let's consider it boys and girls. And this can be either boys and boys or girls and girls. Okay, so when there are 24 handshakes, what can be the possible combinations? There is one boy, 24 girls. There can be 2 boys and 12 girls. Okay, this can be boy or girl, this can be girl or boy. Let's do it this way. This can be 3 and this can be 8. So 3 into 8 is 24 again. 4 into 6 is again 24. Now I can do 6 into 4, but it would be the same thing. So these are the combinations that can happen. Now, if these are the combinations, I want to find out how many possible number of hugs can be there. So if there is just one person, there can be 0 hugs because the person is alone. But if there are 4 persons, how many hugs can be possible? It would be 4 into 3. He can hug to other 3 persons and divided by 2, because every hug would be counted twice, so we need to remove that. So A is hugging B and again B is hugging A. So we'll consider this as 1, so we'll divide it by 2. So what we'll do is 4 into 3 by 2 plus 6 into 5 by 2. That we can do for this. For the first one we can say 1 into 0 by 2 plus 24 into 23 by 2. So if we directly visualize it, we get a very big number. So the possible number of hugs here can be this one. So I can say there are 6 boys or girls and 6 and 4, combination of 6 and 4. So if I try to solve it, it would be 6 plus 15, that it's equals to 21. So the correct answer here would be 21. Next question. There are 2 men, Anil and Dravid, and 2 women, Shabnam and Rekha. So let's first write down how many women and how many men are there. So you have Anil, you have David, you have Shabnam and Rekha. Okay. Now you have male, female and female. And there are 2 people who speak Tamil, 2 people who speak Marathi. Shabnam speaks Marathi, so Shabnam speaks Marathi. Anil speaks Tamil, so Anil speaks Tamil. And Rekha and David can drive, so they can drive. Now either of the David and Rekha, one has to be Tamil and the other has to be Marathi, because there are only 2 who know Tamil and 2 who know Marathi. So I can say both Tamil speakers can drive. That's incorrect, because one would be Tamil, one would be, it can be Tamil or Marathi and it can be again Tamil or Marathi. So this is incorrect. Both Marathi will drive, that's incorrect. Both of those who can drive speak Marathi, that's again incorrect. So one of those who can drive speaks Tamil, that is correct, because one will speak Tamil, the other will speak Marathi. So D would be the correct choice here. Next question. Now this question we can do it by visualizing and drawing the lines itself. So X is perpendicular to Y, this is X, this is Y, and parallel to Z. So this would be Z. In the next case I have U is perpendicular to V and W, and I say X is perpendicular to V. So X is also perpendicular to V, that means X would be also perpendicular to W, because they both are parallel. So I can say U would come here. So I can say either U, X and Z are parallel, or Y, V and W are parallel. So we have Y, V and W are parallel. So here it would be the correct option. Next question. You have the minimum cost of the goat and the maximum cost of the goat. You have the option that a cow would cost either more than 4 goats or less than 5 goats. So if I try to say, let's consider goat to be a minimum of 600. So what can be the minimum price of goat? So it can be equal to the 4 goats, that's 2400. And what can be the maximum price of the goat? So maximum price of the goat here is 800. So maximum price of the cow minimum and cow maximum can be 400 into how many it can cost, equal to 5 goats. So I can say into 5, that's 4000. So the minimum and the maximum price of the cow can be either 2400 or 4000. So a cow can cost between 2400 and 4000. So D would be the correct option. Next question. Now this, you have a society of fighters and cowards. The best way to solve is, let's draw a clear-cut distinction. You have fighters, you have cowards. Okay. Now you know that 2 cowards are always friends. So who are friends? C and D. So I can say C and D would be cowards, and 2 cowards are always friends. A fighter and a coward is an enemy, and fighters are indifferent. So who is indifferent? E and F are indifferent to each other, that is E and F are fighters. Now I say B and F are enemies. I know F is already here, and if they are enemy, one has to be fighter, other has to be coward. So F is here, so B would go here. So I can do B and F are enemies is done. Now what is left? A and B are enemies. So since B is here, A would be enemy, so A should be fighter. There should be, one should be fighter, one should be coward. So A would come here. Now A and E are not enemies. So A and E are not enemies, we will do at last. So A and E are not enemies, that is correct, because both of them are fighter, and when both are fighters, they are indifferent to one another. So with this, we can draw a conclusion that A, E, F are fighters. A, E, F are fighters, it's correct. We can say B, C, D are cowards, that's not given. B, C, F are cowards, it's incorrect. B and E are in the same category, that's again incorrect. A and F are in the different category, that's again incorrect. Both A and F are fighters. So the correct answer here would be B. Next question. A box of match, there is 3 less white marbles than the red ones. So let me do it in a simple way. I have red marbles that I consider as X. So white marbles would be X minus 3. In the next case, I have green marbles as Y. So white marbles would be 5 more. So that would be Y plus 5. Now, if there are total of 10 white marbles, if I assume this number to be 10, how many red marbles would be there? 3 more than this. So this would become 13. If this is again 10, how much would this be? This would be 5 less than this number. So this would be 5. So red plus green plus white would be equal to 13 plus 5 plus 10, that would be equal to 18 plus 10, that's 28. So the correct option here would be 28. Next question. In a competitive exam, 60% are men, 40% are women. So let me do it this way. Consider the total number of students to be 100. So there are 60 men and women are 40. Of these 60, 70% cleared the examination. So how many cleared? 42. Of these 40, 75% clear. So how many cleared is 30. Now out of this 42, 80% are men. So 42, 80% of 42 would be, it would be around 33.6, and 30% of 70% of 30. So 30, 70% would be 21. So 21 females clear the examination. Now if I directly visualize, I say the success rate is higher for women, that's incorrect because it's higher for males. Overall success rate is below 50%, that if I add these two, 33 plus 21, it comes to 54. That means overall success rate is more than 50%, so it's again incorrect. Then more men cleared the examination than women. than women. This, since it is asked in absolute terms, I can say yes, there are more males and less females. So this is correct. Both A and B are incorrect because they are individually incorrect. So with this we covered the set of next 20 questions for the IAS CSET 2015 paper. We would be covering the final set of 20 questions in the next class. You can subscribe to Exam Race channel for the further updates.